Right, looking at the S&P futures here on the monthly at first, a few fibs still drawn on here. The first one in pink from the '09 lows to the all-time highs. The cyan one here from the 2016 lows into the all-time highs. And then we have the yellow retracement as well from the all-time high down here into the current swing low at 2174. We see that this week so far, price has been able to move above and maintain above the point of control at 27.24 on this time frame. Price did test up and through the secondary 38.2 and the tertiary 50 here around the 27.85 level this week. Let's go ahead and zoom into the daily chart real quick. We see price up and through that level yesterday, price testing up into 28.46. Today's high at 28.45.5 and testing down into the primary 23.6 here at 27.52.75. This is going to be kind of the line in the sand right now for me as far as a short-term bull bear area. If price does move below 27.52, it can test all the way down here into the 2600 to 2641.5 area. We could go ahead and put a retracement real quick, running from this low into the high, and get a couple shorter term levels as well. So let's just do that here in green. Alright, so there gives it a couple additional areas. The shorter term 23.6 is here at 26.87.5, so that would be support 1. Support 2 here at the tertiary 38.2 at 26.41.5. And finally down here into the secondary 50 as well as the short term 38.2 at 25.90 to 2600 as support. If we go into the hourly chart here, we can see that picture a little bit more clear. Price tested today down into that primary 23.6 at 27.52.75 and has since supported it. Off the bounce, we did move up higher into retest the break above that 50 and 38.2 at the 27.88 area, and we did see that failure there. So for now, we are looking at consolidation between 27.52 and 27.88. If we do break down that 27.52, then there's a shorter term point of control here at 27.30, and then the levels discussed previously at 26.87.5, 26.41.5, and 2600. If we go ahead and go back out into a daily chart, and we can look at the other direction. If price does hold 27.52 and moves above 27.88 and holds, then we're looking at a move into 28.46, the current swing high, and then the 61.8 from the all-time high down here at or up here at 29.30. Point of control, if we back it out, or high volume node up here at 3000, and then the secondary 23.6 at 30.21. So a couple up and downside targets. Very interesting internals today that we had discussed, or I discussed on Twitter. Not really sure what's going on. A lot of down volume in the market, but tick and cumulative tick remained relatively constant, closing within plus 1,000. So pretty weird stuff watching. Certainly a 30-point window here for us to watch in the overnight to see which way the wind blows. If we want to get into the NQ real quick, we can go out into a weekly at first, kind of see what's going on here. Same idea, there's 3 retracements. The pink is from the '09 lows, the blue is from the 16 lows, and the yellow is from the all-time high into the swing low. We can see here on the weekly chart, a lot of volume below the Nasdaq in the 7360 to 7800 area. So that should act as support if we do test back down into it, sans like an exogenous event or something. So something to be cognizant of. Again, the volume build-outs are a lot different from the Nasdaq to the ES in this regard. A lot more free space, if you will, to the top side of Nasdaq, whereas ES has that volume node above it. A lot of free space kind of to the bottom of ES, where the Nasdaq has this volume node below it. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Possibly just some wide term chop between the volume nodes in the respective markets. So we will see. But anyway, Nasdaq here Let's go ahead and zoom in. We can see price on the Nasdaq broke above the 61.8 yesterday as well. Price tested down and through it today, and currently in the overnight sitting just below it by about 5 points. We will need to again see how this pivot plays. If we hold 85.65, we can test back up into the 76.4 up at 90.23. If we do lose it, then we can test down here into the untested support area at about 8,200 to 83.70. And then through there is that larger volume node down here around 8,000 as well. We could also go ahead and strike a shorter term retracement on the Nasdaq as well. And that paints the 23.6 still in this window of untested support from 8,200 up here into 83.70. So that'll be our first expected test down here about 200 points lower in the Nasdaq. So I hope everybody is weathering the storm pretty well. We'll have to see what happens here in the overnight session, and if we can break out of this window from 27.50 to 27.90 on ES. And whichever way that does break will be our directional bias for the remainder of the week, I would assume. So I hope everybody has a good night. Thanks for listening.